Family, what's going on? Core City coming right back at y'all with this African history, culture, and greatness. I hope all y'all doing all right out there today. Come on in, come on in. Make sure y'all hit the like. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. I got a good presentation for y'all today. Coming right back at y'all. What's up, family? What is going on, family? I appreciate each and every last one of you guys that dropped in today. All right, let's go over the presentation, if you will. I'm going to share my screen so we can hop right on the subject matter right now. And this is titled, Poor City Presents the African Origin, the Human Story, Genetic Memory Unlocked. Okay, family. So we're talking about early man. Where did we come from? We're going to talk about the human line a little bit and where we originated from. People have lost their African mind out here on where we come from. And we're going to talk about that today in this presentation. All right, so off the bat, the African origin of man. Family, Africans walked on the planet at least 4 million years ago. Okay. Leotoli footsteps is what you guys are looking at on the right side of the screen. These were made by Australopithecus africanus. 3.6 million years ago, humans walked through volcanic ash. Soft rain and showers followed by sunshine hardened the prints, and several more eruptions covered the prints up over time. These particular prints were discovered in Africa in 1974 in Tanzania. So as far as us on the planet, when they say we've been on the planet for a long time, here's early evidence of early man walking on the planet. Okay. The next slide I want you guys to see right here is a image that I got. Hold on, let me go back. An image that I got from what do you call it? Dang it, sorry, my slides are getting, I'm trying to move my box out the way. But anyway, these slides that you guys see right now, I'm sorry, this particular slide that you see right now, hominids fossil remains found in Africa. This comes out of page 20 of the Encyclopedia of African History. It cites human remains that has been recovered that goes back 3.18 million years ago, family, up into 40,000 years common era. As you can see, there's a cluster of human life, human remains that has been found all over Southern Africa, all over East Africa, towards the Horn of Africa. This is early man before we left out of Africa, okay? That's the human species. So you have Australopithecus sites that are there in the triangulated key legend. You have this asterisk that looks like the Homo habilis sites, goes back 2 million years. Homo erectus sites. All of these are sites that are found within the African continent, and you would have you don't have that amount outside the African continent. Homo sapien going back 100, 2,000, even 300,000 years back. All of these remains you see are found around and within the interior of Africa. So I just want you guys to check that out. Again, this is coming from the Encyclopedia of History, page 20. My next slide, what is a species? Because I think a lot of people get confused with what a species is. My bad, I'm trying to get my little box out the way. What a species is. There I go. I got to get out of the way, my bad. My box is in the way. A lot of people get confused on what a species is. What is a species? Okay. Now remember, people, a species is a group of organisms that can breed and reproduce viable, fertile offspring. We are all same human species. White, Black, Hispanic, Native American, we all can mate with each other and produce offspring that's fertile. That's by definition. So a lot of people saying we ain't the same species and stuff like that. Y'all are completely wrong. I just want to bring it back to science. We are all from the same human species. Okay. Now, okay. So right here, this is the taxonomy of what we are, the classification of what we are. Okay. And this is really important that we need to look at. Okay. It breaks it down into species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. Species, we are from the Homo sapien species, a member of the genus Homo with a high forehead and thin skull bones. The genus, the Homo, no homo, but we are from the Homo hominid with upright posture and large brains. This is describing us, okay? What family? We're from the hominid, primates with relatively flat faces and three-dimensional vision. This is the family. Our family comes from the Homo hominid group. Okay, order, primates. This is one that y'all don't like to hear sometimes. Okay, mammals with collarbones and grasping fingers. We're primates. Okay, class, mammal. Okay, hair, milk glands. Okay, we're mammals. You know, our mothers produce milk. Okay, phylum, animals with a damn backbone. Okay, we have a backbone. Okay, kingdom, animal kingdom, organisms able to move on their own. Okay, that's who we are. This is our taxonomy. This is our classification as humans. Okay, so the next slide right here is the human cell. Okay, we all have one of these. Every human, when pertaining to DNA, has a cell. Okay, a lot of people get you hear a lot of this, well, I don't believe in the white man's science. I don't want to hear that. We all got human cells if you break this down. I'm gonna exit this screen just so I can show y'all this real quick. All right, this is a breakdown of the genome of what we all have in common with each other. Okay, as far as the human cells are concerned, the genome can be understood as a sequence of letters. Okay, now in a human cell, you got the nucleus. In one human cell, you have 23 paired chromosomes that you get from your mother and your father. Okay, 2 genomes, and this breaks down into 3 billion pairs of nucleotide. Okay, now what makes us different is genetic markers that don't align with each other. Okay, so you got A, C, G, T. All right, these are proteins. They're in that break down the DNA. Everything aligns, the T and the G, the C and the A, and the A, the G, the C. Every now and then, there's a 99.9% chance that you might get a mutation. Something might not match up with the genetic code. That don't mean you're a mutant. That just means genetically things have changed. Now, everybody that has these markers are grouped together because there's one person that created that genetic marker that allowed the rest of the kids to have that marker to pass down to their kids. Okay, so when we say mutations, it is just genetic markers. That's all it is. It's just a different sequence in how the ACGT went down. Okay, I just want everybody to be clear on the sequence of the genome. It contains 3 billion nucleotides. All right, and this is how they break down the DNA. Then going back to the slides, we got the human cell. And right here, we break it down again, AGCT. Okay. And this is how they break everything down. These codes match up and they align, but every now and then when they don't, that is considered a mutation or a genetical marker. And that's what makes us different from one another. And it makes us similar to one another, pertaining whether or not you have these markers or not. Okay. So if you have more genetic markers that associate with West Africans or Native Americans or people that are in Europe, etc. Okay, that's how this is break down. It's not white man science. It's just the way the human body is designed. Okay, now DNA genome sequencing, the Human Genome Project. I'm going to read this real quick. The Human Genome Project is one of the greatest scientific feats in history. The project was a voyage of biological discovery led by the international group of researchers looking for a comprehensive study of DNA known as the genome. A select set of organisms launched in October 1990 is when they started this, and they completed it in 2003. The Human Genome Project signature accomplishments generating the first sequence of the human genome. Remember, I told you it was 3 billion nucleotide, and it took them this long to figure that whole sequence out. Okay. And it talks about the information that it provided, the human blueprint, which has since accelerated the study of human biology and improved the practice of medicine. So based on the mapping of the genome, we're able to do a lot more things in medicine to help all humans out. Now let's take it back to where we're at. All right. Most African Americans come out from the haplogroup L, L0, L1, L2, and L3. Now, when we talk about out of Africa, all of us didn't leave Africa. Okay. Most of our African American people like me, you, your brother, your mom, and all that, a lot of our ancestors stayed within Africa. The Bantu folks were part of that group of folks that never left Africa. Might have traveled within Africa, but never really left. Then you had a population that went out. That's the L3. Okay. So don't get misconfused. Like when they say people left, a lot of us didn't leave. A lot of your ancestors go back still in West Africa or different parts of Central Africa, the Niger Cordophonia area, which groups a lot of Central Africa, Southern Africa, and West Africa. Okay. But if right here, this is the L haplogroup. If every living person could trace his or her line back over thousands of generations, all the lines would meet to a single woman that lived in Africa about 200 to 150,000 years ago. Okay. Now let's talk about genetically what happened to people as far as mutational changes. These mutational changes, as far as pigment is concerned, occurred during weather phenomenons known as like the Ice Age. Okay. There's two images that you see. The images on your left is a maximum extent of what the Ice Age would have been. You have a whole ice sheet that's covering North America, Canada, okay, the whole Arctic Circle, and then you have the Eurasia ice sheets, okay? So this occurred over hundreds of thousands of years ago when you had groups of Africans leaving Africa that was subjected to this climate change in the Northern Hemisphere, okay? So the more you left Africa, the more these weather phenomenon occurrences happen, the less African you became as a result of survival, genetically speaking, okay? This is a melanin density skin map based on climate regions in the world. The most melanated dark folks are in the heart of Africa. Not to say that there's not dark melanated folks in South America as well. Well, they're both below the equator. They're both below the Northern Hemisphere, and they're both heavily dominated with UV ray activity. So you're going to have melanated people across the equator. Indigenous melanated people. Don't get it twisted. You had some people over there that might have came in from the north and got melanated over time when they ended up below the equator. All right. The northern and south hemisphere. Anybody that's below the line that's more close to the sun, you're getting full UV ray exposure when you're in the equator zone, right? You're going to be more melanated. All right. Now, I don't really want to talk about rotations. Well, we're right back at haplogroups. Now, remember, we're part of the L haplogroup. Our people stayed within Africa. It was the L haplogroup that created everything. The L3 was that first branch that went out of Africa. I'm going to show you guys again on this genetic mapping right here, the mapping of human migrations right here. If you can see this map right here, if you look real close, you see L1, L2. And if you notice, there's a L3 that left Africa that populated Australia first. Okay. Now look at L1 and L2. These guys stay within Africa. Most African Americans are part of the L2 haplogroup that stayed within Africa. It might have changed with genetically within Africa. We have some archaic hominids that was in West Africa as well. So I want you guys to take a look at that. A lot of people get confused when they say out of Africa and all of that stuff. A lot of us never left Africa. A lot of our ancestors just stayed and was thriving okay and didn't need to leave Africa and populated West Africa. You know, you got the Knox civilization. Okay. So take a real good close look at these haplogroups, L1, L2. These guys stayed in Africa, and L3 was the one that left. Another thing, guys, I want you guys to look at is this genetic past migration map right here. Check this out. This goes, again, remember, it was the L group that helped populated the world. If you look really close, that's the L3 right here where my picture is. If I can move that over right here to the right of my picture, the first lineage that exit out of Africa was the L3 group. Okay. So when I say African Americans are from the senior branch of the human tree, we existed long minding our African business for a long time. And then something might have happened, a weather phenomenon or something at the time that drew a lot of Africans outside of Africa during the L3 lineup. But as you can see, there was a lot of human activity of Africans within Africa way before. If you look at the date, we were, didn't leave until like 80,000 years ago. So, 200,000 years ago, we were minding our African business. 150,000 years ago, we were minding our African business. 100,000 years ago, we were, and then you had that one L3 branch that created all of these, all of these. Out of Africa, L3 helped create Japanese, Chinese, the Asians, French, Dutch. I mean, look at that. All come from that L3 that left Africa. Modern humans walk out of Africa. Okay, so but these weather phenomenons made everybody different. Just wanted to kind of clue that in to you guys. This is coming from the book of the evolutionary book, if you guys want to check this out. Going back to the slides. Okay, so that's what we got going on here. That L group, a lot of us stayed in here. Okay, now look at the African American and let's check out the DNA of the African American. Let me go back. Okay, now they done tests recently, right? This is an abstract, and they tested different groups of African Americans, and they tried to cluster all of their DNA and stuff together to try to figure out where the origins of these people from, right? Well, here's the test. The test results are based on different samples that they took in Africa and with people that populated the United States, Black folks compared to the African folks. And they found out that the ancestry of the African American is predominantly from the Niger Codophonia, approximately 71%. I keep telling people this, 71%. Now, you do have a 13% approximately of the European, and we all know why. That was because of this transatlantic slave holocaust. But there's a big 3/4 of Niger Codophonia, a big healthy chunk of African DNA floating in African American veins right now. Okay, this is from the Library of Medicine. Now look at my DNA. I'm gonna go back. We got my DNA, okay? We got me up here with this goes along with everything. I'm 90% sub-Saharan African. I got 79% West African. I'm 55% Nigerian Igbo, right? This is all Niger Codophonia. This is it. This is that 71% that I've been trying to tell everybody about. Most of you guys, when y'all take y'all DNA test, it's going to read that. It's going to give you these types of results. You might not have more Nigerian. You might have more Sierra Leone. You might have more Ghanaian. You might have more Congolese. But it's in there and it's all baked in to your DNA. If you take this test, you will find out. Now, the test that I showed you wasn't the 20. This is a 23andMe test. This right here is a 23andMe test, right? But the test that I just showed you, this test right here is from the Library of Medicine. This ain't no 23andMe study. This ain't no Ancestry.com study. This is a comprehensive study from the Library of Medicine that tested these. I just want to make that clear. When they found out that African Americans possess 71% Niger Codophonia DNA, this was out of a tested lab, not a 23andMe type shit. Now going back to my DNA, it matches everything that they said in the test from 23andMe. This ain't no entertainment purposes. This is on point. Now I will show you that I have maybe 6.9% European, but that makes sense because the Europeans invaded Nigeria and they stole a lot of stuff from that area. That's why I have that 6.9% because of the horrific things that happen. Now you look on the other side, I do have a 0.5 indigenous, but that's not who I am, okay? I am West African. I am Nigerian and I have ancestral connection with the Igbo family, okay? So don't be afraid to take this test. I'm just sharing y'all my results because I ain't afraid to show y'all how West African I am. Most of these brothers on here be saying I ain't from Africa, but they DNA tests look just like this, and they tell you don't believe in it because it's fake science. I just broke down to you how cells work in the body. We all possess cells. Now this might not go back that far, but it tells you we're a group of people that share the same genetic markers. It connects you with them. I share genetic markers with Igbo people. That's how this works. And it's from the population of people that they sample. Okay. This right here is an illustration of the transatlantic slave holocaust between the 1500s and the 1800s. And this you can tell where we come from. You can just look at this. It gets really, really, really intense around the 1700s. Okay, so part of our ancestors had to go through this to get over. You see Brazil is being populated. You see the Caribbean is being populated in the Americas. You take a really good look, and like I said, around the 1700s, this thing just cranks up. It just gets intense. I want y'all to just take a look at that. This is from slavevoyages.org. This is a view of approximately 31,000 slave ships between the 1500s into the 1800s. Okay. So I don't want to hear nothing about no slave ships or anything. You can see all of our West African culture ending up in Brazil. You have a lot of West African culture in Brazil. You have a lot of West African culture in the Caribbeans, and you have a lot of West African culture in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying, in those southern areas. Okay, where did it come from? It came from the west coast of Africa. Look how intense it got around the 1700s. So this is just a visual to show folks where we come from, where some of us come from. Okay, this was a horrible thing, but I'm not going to deny that it happened. All right, family. So that's it. I'm going to probably see if I can stop sharing my screen. And I hope you guys was able to enjoy that quick presentation. All right, go ahead and smash the like button, hit the notification, like these videos, hit the like, thumb up the videos for me. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for following me on TikTok as well. All right, family. So I'm gonna talk right back to y'all later. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I'll be back soon.